الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أما بعد. Firstly, my brothers and sisters, I would like to start by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, the one who is our sole protector, the one who is our sole provider, the one who is our sole creator, the one who manages all affairs of this dunya and the next life. So first we start off by sending our blessings to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and all of our praises to Him. Secondly, we send our salutations and salams to the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the best of mankind. We send salam to him, we send salam to the companions, we send salam to the mu'mineen that came after him, and we send salam upon all of the ummah in which we are blessed to be part of. So brothers, my topic today is in regards to tawakkul. Now, maybe we've heard this term before, maybe we haven't, but today inshallah is a day that we learn, go home, we learn something new, and we try and implement it in our lives inshallah. Tawakkul, what is the meaning of tawakkul? Tawakkul means to have trust in Allah, to have all trust in Allah, not just trust, all trust in Allah, that He will make things easy for you and He will give you the best of times. وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلَ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Indeed, whoever has pure tawakkul and has pure trust in Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be with him step by step throughout his life. This is what this means. And the importance of me talking about this topic today is in regards to how the levels of tawakkul in society has dropped quite significantly. And today we are going to try and inshallah understand tawakkul and try and take benefits as much as we can. And the story that I am going to use today is a story which is narrated in the Quran. It's narrated in the best of books. The story is within Surah Al-Kahf. Every Friday we read Surah Al-Kahf regardless. We read it anyway because we understand it protects us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to read. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us the surah, it has benefits to it, so we read it every Friday. So in this surah, the story of Khidr and Musa is mentioned. Now, just before I begin the story, I want to give a little backstory, a little introduction, I would say, to the actual story. Khidr. Who is Khidr? He's not mentioned upon the major prophets, the major messengers. But who is Khidr? Khidr was known to be a man which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon him a particular skill set, a particular knowledge in which he had, in which others did not possess. Khidr, the name, it means to give light. It means to give greenness. If there was a barren land and Khidr would walk through it, the land would turn green, it would become flourished. That's what Khidr means. So, in Surah Al-Kahf, the story mentions that once there was a man within the sermon of Musa alayhi salam. This is the time of Musa alayhi salam. Man from Bani Israel. He was curious. He asked a question. He asked, "O Musa, who is the most knowledgeable man who is on this earth?" So Musa, being a prophet, assumed, I'm a prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked to me directly, as mentioned in the Quran as well. So it must have been me. It must have been me. Who else could be more knowledgeable on this earth than me? So Musa alayhi salam claimed that he was the most knowledgeable. Now, the Quran, when the Quran narrates stories, the beauty about the Quran is that these stories, let's say they are not written, but they are introduced as simple stories. Everybody can understand these stories. But the beauty of the Quran is that these stories, if you look deep enough, you will find deep meanings which will correlate towards your life. These little stories which a lot of people say, kids' stories, these stories actually, if you read them properly and understand them and ponder upon them, you'll find that there's many benefits. And the benefits keep on going the deeper you look. So, inshallah, we're going to dissect the story and try and understand tawakkul, but there's also little other beneficial stories, little other beneficial messages which are in this surah as well, so I will try my best to narrate them to you. So, Musa alayhi salam assumed that he was the best. But in Islam we don't assume. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is the most knowledgeable. Musa alayhi salam, him thinking, I am the most knowledgeable, that's a rational conclusion. It's a good conclusion and everybody would assume the same thing. However, Jibreel alayhi salam came down to him and said, Musa, what is it that you are saying? There is a specific man on this earth who has knowledge of which you do not have. So from this little text which I've told you right now, we can assume that if you're a brother, when it comes to Islam, somebody asks you a question, don't assume the answer. Don't assume the answer. The same way Musa alayhi salam assumed and he was incorrect. Do not assume the answer. When it comes to deen, especially Islam, a lot of people ask questions and they give an answer without thinking. They say, no, that must be haram. No, it must be it's halal. But they have no background, no knowledge in that. And this is incorrect. This goes against the principles of our deen. But if you notice, when it comes to other things, not deen related, when it comes to dunya related, people will turn around and say, I don't know the answer. Why don't you go and ask a specialist? Why don't you go and ask an engineer? Go and ask somebody who's actually in this field. But when it comes to deen, everybody all of a sudden knows the answer. But why is that? Why? Because when it comes to deen, shaitan is always there. Shaitan is always trying somehow to weave his way into your heart, to weave his way into your ears, and to try and manipulate you, and to try and cause you issues, and to cause other people issues from you. That answer which you give, that might be a means for somebody else to go astray. It could just be the reason why people go astray. But see how shaitan works, very skilled. Shaitan's been around since the beginning of time, since Adam alayhi salam was here. He knows all the tricks and all these little tricks and how to get to you. He knows these things. He's a trained veteran. So these things, we require protection. We can't deal with these things alone. It's impossible. We can't challenge shaitan alone. It's impossible. So what do? The only thing that we can do is seek refuge from Allah. The one who has more knowledge than shaitan. The one who can actually defeat shaitan is Allah. So we must ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. So going back on track, Musa alayhi salam was asked, he said it was him. Jibreel came down and said, no, there's another man who is more knowledgeable. Musa alayhi salam said, Allah, I seek permission. Let me go study with this man. So, Musa alayhi salam, he was informed that when the two seas meet, take a boat, take a fish. When the two seas meet, the fish will leave the pond which you put it in, and it will go swimming away. Then that's where you will meet Musa. That's where you will meet Khidr. So, Musa alayhi salam took one of his companions, Yusha, his name was Yusha. Musa alayhi salam traveled with him. And they went on this boat trip. And the fish, at that meeting point which was informed to Musa, the fish left the pond. But there was an issue. Going on the narration that Yusha actually seen the fish come out of the pond. But Musa alayhi salam was speaking, so he decided, I'm not going to tell Musa. I don't want to disturb him. There's another narration saying that nobody saw it. But Yusha alayhi salam, in this narration, he says that I seen it. But he didn't tell Musa anything to bring up. Then they both forgot. Then Yusha forgot. Later on, carrying on, it's a long journey. Musa alayhi salam said, okay, let's stop now, it's time. Let's get our food. I'm hungry. So they were really hungry, they've been traveling for ages, I want food. Yusha then remembered. He goes, oh, wait a second. The fish, I remember the fish. The fish, I seen it in the pond. So if the fish left the pond, then we've already gone past it. Musa alayhi salam didn't get angry. Musa alayhi salam turned around and said, okay, that's fine. Let's go back. It's not an issue. Another little benefit that we learn from this is when somebody is incorrect, that Yusha was incorrect, Shaitan got to him. Shaitan made him forget. Musa alayhi salam stayed calm and firm. He didn't argue. He didn't say, what are you doing? You wasted my time, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, look what you've done. He didn't say that. He said, it's alright. And also we learn, when you're trying to learn more about Islam, Shaitan tries pulling you away. Pulling you away. That's why it's harder to learn Islam than it is to learn any of the sciences. So, they went back and they found Khidr. Khidr said to them, Musa said to Khidr, I want to learn from you. Khidr replied saying, Musa, I will teach you, but there's an issue. You won't have the patience to sit with me and go through these trials and tests which I'm going to teach you. Musa said, no, don't worry, I'll make it a condition. If I speak, then you can lead me. We can part ways if I speak. So Khidr accepted this condition. Whilst they were speaking, a boat arrived. A boat arrived. Now, both of them, they went onto this boat. The people greeted them with kindness. They were poor people. They were not rich people, they were poor people. They greeted Musa and Khidr with kindness, and all of a sudden, Khidr started breaking the boat. He broke the bottom of the boat. So Musa said to them, what's going on here? These people have been so nice to us, they've been hospitable to us, and you are breaking and damaging their boat. How can this be? So Khidr turned around and said, Musa, did I not tell you that you are not caught out with this? This knowledge requires patience, but you don't have this type of patience. Musa said, no, forgive me. Let's go again. Let's try again one more time. So then the second scenario comes. The second scenario is that there was a child playing, and Khidr and Musa were both there. Khidr grabbed the child and he killed the child. Musa was thinking, whoa, Khidr, you just killed somebody in front of me. How could you have done this? You literally killed a man in front of me. Khidr turned around and said, Musa, did I not say to you that you don't have patience? He said you don't have patience. This is where we part. Musa said, no, by no chance. If I do it, then I will definitely do it. Khidr replied saying, okay, it's fine. Then the third scenario came. The third scenario is that they were going to a town. And in this village, in this town, specific village, specific town, Musa and Khidr were very hungry now. And they were looking for food. But these people, they were being very, very rude to them. It's basic human rights that if somebody, Shar'i in Islam, if somebody is in a new area and they don't have any food or any water or anything, they should be allowed at least bare minimum and stay one night. But this was even allowed, nothing happened, they just sent them away. They said, no, we don't want you in this town. So Musa got a bit upset. But then Khidr decided, he's seen a wall and he thought, this wall's a bit broken, let me fix this wall. So Musa alayhi salam, he lost it. He goes, what's going on? These people are treated us like this and you are helping them. How does that make sense? What's going on? And this is the point that Khidr turned around to Musa and said, okay, this is enough. This is your third and final chance, this is enough, this is where we both part ways. So Musa asked, okay, Let's talk about the first scenario. Why did he break the bow? What happened there? Khidr replied saying, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me the knowledge that this specific boat, there was a king down the road, down the canal, down the lake, wherever it was. And he was a bit tyrannical. He wanted to take all the boats. Any boat that was there which was a good, healthy boat, he would take it. But if he's seen a defect, a deficiency inside the boat, he would leave it there. So, Khidr caused a little bit of affliction, a little bit of a problem with the boat, broke the boat a little bit, and that boat was saved. The people actually kept that boat, and the rest of the boats were taken from the harbour. So then we go now to number 2, scenario number 2. Scenario number 2 was when it comes to the killing of the child. So the killing of the child, Khidr turned around and said, this child would have been a pain towards his family when he grew older. So Allah gave me this intellect, Allah gave me this knowledge, and it was best to kill that child when he was young, so that it didn't cause any pain and affliction to the parents when he was older. So, the third time was when the village, when he comes to the village. Now what happened when he came to the village was that there was orphans inside the village. And their father was a righteous man. He was a good man. He was on haqq, he was on the truth. Their father, he left for them wealth. But the issue was that them people in that town, they were not great people. They would have robbed that wealth. They would have stolen it. No questions asked. And they're kids, they can't defend themselves. So, Khidr had the intellect, which Allah provided him, and what did he do? He built a wall to protect it. And when the time is right, that wall will break down with the kids whose money it belonged to, the orphans, they would go there and they would take that wealth. So, what is the point of the story? What is the moral of the story? If we then backtrack one more time to story 1. Small affliction to the boat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala returned it with goodness. They kept the boat. If anything, they were the only boat left. Which means what? Which means Allah opened doors. If they're the only boat left, it means that they're going to get all the customs, or all the base, or whatever it was, or transportation, everything. But in that time, could Musa alayhi salam see this? No, he couldn't. Because Musa alayhi salam was like us. When a small affliction happens, we lose our minds, we go crazy, we think, what's happened? But all we learn from within the 10 is it requires a little bit of patience. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show you, but it requires that patience. It requires trust in Allah. Allah's plan. Could me and you have foreseen that this would have happened to the boat? No, we couldn't have. It's impossible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has knowledge which we do not have. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has knowledge of the past. He has knowledge of the present. He has knowledge of the future. He has one more type of knowledge. And this knowledge is knowledge in which if you were to go down a different route, a different path, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will know all of the consequences. He will know everything that will happen. In essence, he would have known all of the scenarios. We don't have that access. We don't have access to that knowledge. Only Allah has access to that knowledge. And whoever He decides to give it to. So, why would we then trust our own plans? When we have the one of others who can see everything, who knows all of the scenarios already, we think our plan is better than that. Who are we? Who are we to think this? We ain't no prophet, we ain't no Musa alayhi salam. So, that was the first one. Number 2, when it came to the killing of the child. There's a lot of different benefits from this, but linking it back to tawakkul, trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His plan for succession, this child was killed. This child, it would have been better for this kid to die than it would if he was still alive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then made and replaced this child with a few other children who were good to the parents, who were coolness to the parents' eyes, What does this mean? This means that when a severe affliction happens, severe one, not a small one, severe one, what do? Do we lose hope? We don't lose hope. Because yes, we suffer pain for a little while. However, later on that pain will go. Allah will replace it. You just have to trust it. It's like everything in life. You go through an issue, a year later you have another issue. You completely forget about the issue that was the year before. This is life. Humans, we're fickle. We forget easily. We move on, we forget. We move on, we forget. The last one and the third one, what's the moral of the story? The moral is that trust Allah's plan. The orphans didn't know what was going their way. They didn't know what was going their way. They didn't know that they had this wealth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew. Khidr knew. But this one is focusing more on the time. It's the time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, yes, trust me. Ask me for help in your distress, in your affairs, in your issues. Ask me, I will give you. But it requires time, it requires patience. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have left that there for the children to have that wealth, but then that wealth might have been robbed. So would it have been best for them? No. Maybe it wouldn't have been best for them. Allah gave it to them at the correct time when they needed it, not when they wanted it. So we have to understand when we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for things. We ask constant things. What do we say? Oh Allah, it's taking forever. Allah, I've asked you for 10 years now. I've asked you for 20 years, you still haven't given it. But is that the case? Is that the case? Allah accepts du'as in ways you can't imagine. Maybe He's stopped an affliction from happening, which you do not know of. Same way in these all three. In all three, Musa had no idea of these afflictions. Maybe Allah might do that for you. Maybe. Or maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might give you the thing that you want in the correct time. Maybe now, or maybe later on is best for you. And He's not going to turn you towards anything harmful, anything bad. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the best time. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might give it to you in the next life. Why would you want it in this life? Why? When you have in the next life, it's time. So, these things, they're all related to tawakkul of Allah subhanahu. Any issue that happens, take time, take sabr, be patient, like Khidr. And take a step back and look at it. Just think just a little while. Okay, what's happening? Try and get an understanding of what's happening. Okay, this has happened to me now. Let's be a bit patient. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will return it to you. Why? Because He has knowledge in which we do not have. قولي قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين استغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So, knowledge. Let's bring it back to knowledge. What brings tawakkul? How do you get tawakkul? You get tawakkul by asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A powerful thing which a lot of people forget is knowledge. Is knowledge. The more you learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more you learn about Aqidah, the more you learn about any topic in Islam, the closer you get to the deen. The closer you get to the deen gives you a better understanding of these certain things, these certain topics. Tawakkul. How to gain them. It gives you an understanding which you couldn't have had before. It makes you realize that, you know what, I've been looking through a tunnel vision. You're not looking around, you're not looking, there's life there. You're not looking at it, you're just looking straight up. It's a narrow vision. There's no openness. But we need to improve our thinking. We need to think, okay, we're not alone in this world. We're not the only beings around. You know what I mean? There's angels live, jinns live, other beings live. But most importantly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists. When He created us. When He created us, you don't think He's going to know what's best for us. The same way a child. A father knows what's best for a child. A child might want to do a million things. The father says no, because the father knows what's best for the child. Similar to this, we are all children. Even if we're 60, 70, 40, whatever age, we're all children at the end of the day. So we need to understand this is dunya. It's going to pass. Be a bit patient. Be a bit patient. Whatever you're going through, any issues with money, Allah will provide you with blessing. Any issues when it comes to your marriage, Allah will provide you with blessing. If he's not left you in your life, and you're 20, 30, let's say 40, 50, he's not left you, why is he going to leave you now? Why? What makes you think he's going to leave you now? So, these things are very important. And another common thing, this was actually mentioned yesterday in the dars by a brother who teaches in this masjid. Is a dars in the book of Tauheed. A brother, he mentioned this yesterday, brother Zohaid, he mentioned this. There's kafir, a non-believer, and there's a Muslim. The kafir, the non-believer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listens to their du'as as well, not just Muslims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listens to all du'as. So the kafir will turn around and say, Allah give me this, Allah will give it. But the Muslim might ask for something as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might not give it to him. The Muslim might turn around and say, Allah, he's a non-believer, he's a kafir, and you accepted it from him. What am I? Am I not? I'm a believer. Why are you not giving it to me? Because their dua is accepted in this life, yes, but you have to remember this. The repercussions in the next life for them, which is different to us. Which is different to us. We are not the same. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might give us to us later, to test us, to give us patience. The more patience you have, the more Allah rewards you. The more Allah rewards you. Issues, all this, problems in society and life and all these things that you're going through day-to-day basis. All like that, this little speckle. If you compare eternity to this one speckle, what is the speckle? It's nothing. It's like the earth compared to the universe. You can't even see the earth as soon as you leave the galaxy. The earth is absolutely nothing. The same way, these issues are absolutely nothing. We have to open our minds with this. We have to see these things. We have to learn knowledge, gain close to what's going on. So a few announcements to make. Number one is that there is a masjid in Leicester right now who is here at this moment in time, and they are collecting the funds for the masjid. Same way we have been doing for the last many years, they are also doing the same thing. So we are trying to help them, inshallah, raise 350,000 to complete the mosque's basement development project. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He makes it clear, you help others, Allah will help you. You help His believers, Allah will help you. Link it back to Quran. Link it back, link everything back. You see, small affliction, because of this small thing, boom, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a lot. Kill the child, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the parents a lot. Build the wall, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the orphans a lot. You give the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why would He not give it back to you? Allah, why not? You give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will give you. Allah will give you multiple back. Maybe not in this life. So we don't only live in this life. There is a next life. Jannah and Jannah exists. There's a lot of evidence to show that Jannah and Jannah exists. Quran itself is a revelation, it's evidence. So maybe not in this life. So what? Yes. Forget it, believe. Think about the next life. Think about the next life. You always say this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us goodness in this life. Or give us better in the next life as well. You should always ask more for the next life. Because we are looking to the vision. Open your minds. Think. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us upon the mu'mineen. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us upon those Muslims who are allowed to see His face when we enter Jannah. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us in the grave, allow us in the next life, and allow us in all of the next life. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to be safe and protected. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to gain close to Him, to allow us to learn Him. This class is going on in the masjid. Every Thursday night, after Maghrib, there's a class about Tauheed, learning what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is shirk, what is not shirk, what is Tauheed in essence. Learn about these things. Get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To understand the Tawakkul. The moment you understand the Tawakkul, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes life ease. So there's classes going on, I believe on Sundays, there's a few classes going on, so we're going to be doing those. So, there's things going on in this question. Utilize it. Don't waste the opportunity. So, I ask you for these things. I also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us today to give donations to this masjid and allow them to flourish, and allow that masjid to become as they planned it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it even better than they planned. I mean, ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به. واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، سلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. في الصلاة.